Hello everyone, welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV. It is scoring the players' time and Newcastle have just won a game of football against Burnley by 2-1. I'll drink to that. I'm here with Sam Milner. Oh, let's just drink to that first, sorry. Oh. Get rid of everything off my beard, it's still too long. I'm here with Sam Milner. Sam, what a result, very briefly.
Yeah, I mean, you look like you're having severe difficulty drinking a simple drink with that beard. That is an absolute disgrace.
Oh, tough times. Karl, we've just done the watch on very, very briefly. Great win.
Yeah, very, very good win, mate. It's just something we're not used to, is it? What, third win in 21 games? It's craziness. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed the watch along.
Yes, 1 win in 7. Just before we start scoring the players, we have got an advert from our sponsors, Manscaped. Karl, don't you?
Lads, and we have got a treat for you. We have a fantastic Manscaped offer, don't we, Sam?
We do indeed. Yes, you there watching NFTV now. Have you got bush? You definitely do. If you haven't tried the best products from our sponsors, Manscaped.
Is that the right one?
After using these life-changing products, you're going to want to join a ballsack beauty contest. I'm looking out for you too, because I have an exclusive 20% discount. Use the code NFTV at manscaped.com.
Thank you very much, Sam. So yes, as I've mentioned before, I've used cheap razors before and I've cut myself for quite a few times. No more. Lawnmower 3.0. I never thought myself going to go out and get an expensive piece of equipment, and I absolutely love it. You can shave any part of your body, not just downstairs, can't you, Sam?
Yeah, the good thing is it's waterproof as well, Lee, so you can wash it in between you doing your upstairs and downstairs, or downstairs and upstairs.
Upstairs first, surely.
Absolutely.
Manscaped is dedicated to helping you level up your full body grooming game with the Perfect Package 3.0 kit. The Perfect Package 3.0 kit comes with the essential Lawnmower 3.0, waterproof as Sam has mentioned, cordless body trimmer, and a ton of other liquid formulations to round out your grooming routine. This is the best trimmer on to help you trim up the hedges. This trimmer features a cutting-edge Simeratic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to advanced skin-safe technology pioneered by Manscaped. When you trim the hedges, the tree stands taller. Inside their Perfect Package, you'll also find the Manscaped Crop Preserver, ball deodorants, making sure your balls are smelling majestic before your Tinder date. Which way are you swiping? You'll also find the Crop Reviver Ball Toner, a spray-on testy toner that's designed to make your balls smell irresistible. Be sure to add their refined cologne to your arsenal. See what I've done there, Sam?
Yeah, very good.
With their Perfect Package or Performance Package purchase, you'll get 2 free gifts, which is the Shed Travel Bag, which is priced at $39 US, and the High Performance Reduced Chafing Manscaped boxers, which actually feel like shorts.
Get 20% off with free shipping using the code NFTV at manscaped.com. Do yourself a favor and always use the right tools for your bush trimming experience. 20% off and free shipping with the code NFTV at manscaped.com.
Get it. It's absolutely fantastic. Let's get back to the show.
Thank you, everyone, for that. Appreciate that you're all enjoying it in the chat, but Lee, we are sorry.
See what happens when I'm not on controls.
Pardon?
See what happens when I'm not on controls.
I appreciate that, but I had no idea which one it was. It's my own fault for not looking in the chat, so sorry. But it usually automatically mutes everyone. I don't know why it didn't.
It does, to be fair. I'm sitting up for Karl here because it normally does. I didn't realise.
Anyway, Martin Dubravka.
Right.
Newcastle won a game of football. That's what we should be talking about. Big thanks to our sponsors, Manscaped, genuinely, because they do a great job. And if you need anything for that particular part of your body, go for it, by all means. Right, Martin Dubravka, Sam, you've been waiting very patiently. You've been very well behaved, waiting for this advert to finish and not say anything in the background. by all means, we should let you go first. Tell us how good our number one goalkeeper was today, please.
Yeah, he was superb, wasn't he? He really showed why he is number one and put to bed any sort of Darlo Dubravka argument. Commanded the area well, got Dummett out of jail in the first half because it would have been a cracking finish. And he would have scored his first goal for Burnley, would have done it if it wasn't for Dubravka. And how many corners did Burnley have today? It was ridiculous. I'm giving him an 8, which on the face of it may seem a little bit harsh, but his distribution was the only thing that was lacking a little bit today. But what was nice to see was his command of the area when they were firing in them corners, firing in them crosses, which were always going to happen when Chris Wood's up there, and Dwight McNeil's pinging them crosses in as he was quite nicely. Came and collected the ball, came and punched when needed to, spot on, kept us ahead, kept us in the game. ASM won us the game. He kept well and truly kept us in it at times.
He definitely 100%. What I liked in the second half, Carl, when we were doing the watch along, was that he was actually coming out for crosses a lot more. He was going, I'm going to have to try and take a bit more control on this because Burnley were peppering him.
Definitely, that's something that you spoke about in the first half. You asked the question, does he need to control his box more? And the answer is yes. And like you said, he did that in the second half. So yeah, it was a better display from everyone in the second half. Absolutely.
I'll start with the right wing back in terms of the outfield players. Jacob Murphy, what a goal by Jacob Murphy. Yes, Alan Saint-Maximin does a lot of work for the goal, but what a finish. And it was a really interesting battle between him and Dwight McNeil. I actually thought Dwight McNeil had the better of it for the first half in particular. I thought he really was a nuisance to Jacob Murphy. But that goal just seemed to give him the confidence. It really did. And I think he blossomed from that moment, to be honest. Look, right wing back is not his natural position. He is doing a job for us. He is more of a right winger. But at the minute, there was questions asked by Steve Bruce, should he be giving an extension on his contract? And I think he should be now. I'm going to go 8 as well for Jacob Murphy today.
Would you have said that at half time?
No, I probably wouldn't have. But to be honest with you, Sam, I think he warranted it in the second half. I think he kept McNeil pretty quiet second half. He blocked the majority of his crosses in the second half. He had one shot in the second half, McNeil. But he is Burnley's biggest outlet. And if he wasn't playing, I think Newcastle would have won maybe by a couple more today. But credit where credit's due. Fantastic finish to the goal. 8 out of 10 for me. Really, really good second half performance in particular. Carl, Federico Fernandez came out of the wilderness because of Jamal Lascelles' injury and Emile Kraft's poor form. What did you make of his performance?
Yeah, I thought he's not been as influential as what we used to in terms, especially with Lascelles not in the side as well. I'd look to Fernandez to be able to step up and be that commanding centre half, but I didn't feel like he was that today, especially in the first half anyway. We both spoke about the lack of communication between him and Ciaran Clark for that first goal. I think it was I think he had quite a difficult day dealing with Chris Wood, to be honest. And Vidra, I thought Vidra had the better of him as well throughout the day. He was better in the second half, but yeah, I think it just sticks in my mind that the lack of communication for that first goal. He was far too close to Ciaran Clark for me, and he could have give him a couple of yards because Ciaran Clark's only ever shown him one way. And even if he does beat him, you've got more of the box to cover for Fernandez, and he didn't do that. So I'm going to give him a 6.
Yeah, Sam, what did you think? I thought Vidra and Wood were really good for Burnley today. I thought Vidra was a right nuisance.
Yeah, well, that shows you how poor our defence was. Vidra shouldn't be a nuisance in the Premier League at all. And not like his third goal in 5 games now. But the goal was on a plate for him. I have a feeling whoever it is that you're going to give me next, but I think I know who it's going to be out of the two. I think had a poorer display than Fernandez. I thought he was okay. It's been ages since he's played, remember?
Yeah.
But let's not forget, for all the criticism Lascelles gets, he is a miss when he's not playing.
I think it proved, like, because I've been one to say that I'd not necessarily thought his communication was that great, but I think today proved me wrong. That even if it's not great, it's better than what we have without him, isn't it? Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. But it was his first game back in God knows how long. So do we let him off a little bit? Possibly, but I think it's because we obviously won the game, and that's probably why. Hopefully get an improved performance against West Ham next week. We're currently leading by 3-1 against Leicester at the minute. Sam, you were right. I'm going to give you Ciaran Clark next. Look, it was almost like the Ciaran Clark of Ireland and not the Ciaran Clark of Newcastle, wasn't it? For that first half in particular, I thought he had a better second half. There was a couple of good clearances, especially from a cross in the second half, which he headed over the crossbar. But by God, what a poor first half.
Yeah, I mean, towards the end, that's probably going to save him somewhat because I thought he was a real weak link in the first half. I was at half time because I didn't come on the watch along with you at half time, but I was gearing myself up for when I was on the instant match reaction straight after full time. I was gearing myself up to absolutely hammer him because then I just remember he's going from Mr. Consistent, Mr. Superb every time, never puts a bad shift in, to coming out with that utter nonsense after Brighton saying he couldn't get up for the game, to showing that in the first half. I mean, first half performances alone, he's probably getting a 2 or a 3. I'm going to put that up to a 5 because they held firm in the end, and he's getting a very generous 5. Very generous 5. It was really starting to bug me because he's gone from kind of, as I say, Mr. Consistent and never having a bad game to coming out with that nonsense saying you can't go up for these. These are the type of games you should be getting. If you can't get up for these sort of games, to the winnable games that save us and mean so much for Premier League survival, then you shouldn't be on the pitch. You shouldn't be at the club even. That's how much of a dramatic of like 180 that's happened with him. But second half, there was a bit more composure, and he saved himself really because they dealt with the kind of long balls in and the onslaught that was inevitably going to come when we're hanging on in the last 10-15 minutes. They dealt with him okay.
I actually thought that Federico Fernandez did what Ciaran Clark should have done in the second half. It was when Chris Wood had the ball and he was driving at the box, and yes, it was a corner, but that's what Ciaran Clark should have done. Take him down the line. Take him towards the byline, but just put a bit more pressure on him. He was just standing off him, and he was allowing that potential chance of a pass back towards the edge of the box. Yes, you can talk about who should be marking Vidra, who should be at least getting a bit tighter to Vidra. But it was such poor from Ciaran Clark. It's not like Ciaran Clark from a Newcastle point of view. Ireland, it could be different, but Newcastle, we don't see that really from Ciaran Clark. Maybe he is lacking a little bit of confidence, but at the wrong time, especially in the game. I'll move on to Paul Dummett. This is for me. Bit similar to Ciaran Clark. I didn't think he was brilliant first half, but he had a better second half. He got injured, but there was a couple of clearances. I remember just after Newcastle equalised, the ball across the box, and sometimes it goes in the back of the net, but he actually managed to clear it away from danger. But the two strikers we've mentioned did have a tough afternoon. Made the defence have a tough afternoon in terms of the centre halves. What did we get? Fernandez a 6. I'll go 6. I don't think he was as bad as Ciaran Clark, so I'll go 6 out of 10 for Paul Dummett today. But hopefully it just breeds a little bit more confidence. They didn't play well, but they won the game. That's how I'd like to see it going forward. Look, West Ham's going to be a tough game next week regardless, and then Liverpool, Arsenal, etc. But hopefully we can just be a bit more resolute at the back. And if we can do that, then hopefully that'll help us maybe nick at the odd point here or there and from now at the end of the season. Karl, I'm going to let you continue with Matt Ritchie, left wing back. I thought he was quite quiet, but in a good way.
Yeah, I thought I didn't realise it. Like he still managed to get a few decent crosses in. I just think it's good that he's brought balance to the side down that left hand side, and obviously we've missed quite a bit of seniority from him as well. But do you mean quiet in the sense that he didn't have much to deal with? Is that what you meant, Jonny? Sorry.
Yeah, it's just because I was looking at the battle between him and Goodmanson. Goodmanson had the odd moment, but it was all coming down Dwight McNeil's side, especially in the first half.
Yeah, definitely. again, he's kind of been brought in from the cold, hasn't he? So I'm not overly unhappy with his performance or overly happy with his performance. I just think it was a steady performance where he's not put a foot wrong. But yeah, I thought he put some dangerous crosses in. I'd probably give him, again, I think a 6 would be fair.
Yeah, I think that's a fair mark considering what he did. Let's move into the midfield, Sam. We talked about this in the watch along at half time. Matt was really passionate about how the two centre midfielders, especially at half time, the first half, they were always kind of like outnumbered, and it was almost Westwood and Brownhill were getting far too much of the ball. And I think that impact on John Joe Shelby in particular. He had to kind of move around a little bit more on the right-hand side to really get into the game and try to link up with Dwight Gayle. Were you happy with Shelby's start? Because there was rumours that obviously Willock had done enough to start, but it was probably going to be probably Sean Longstaff that was going to get dropped out of the two, wasn't it?
It was never a surprise. So I'm still laughing that from last week it's still got my hashtag Adam out on Matt Ritchie for his shocking analysis of Ritchie's performance last week. So for John Joe, it just wasn't a surprise that he played, because he was always going to play and always going to have the captain's armband. In the first 5 minutes, I put this on our WhatsApp group, in the first 5 minutes alone, his two kind of forward passes, well, I say passes, balls forward, were overhit and went out for goal kicks. He missed 2 tackles. That was all in the first 5 minutes. He's getting a 5 from me.
Got an assist, Sam.
Yes, he did. But like Ciaran Clark, he was absolutely woeful for the majority of the game. It was great vision to release ASM, but ASM obviously did the rest. I thought Shelby was really, really poor first half, really poor. Passing was just so off. It was just a million miles off the pace. He did do some good work getting back and helping out the struggling defence. He just left a bit wanting, but a 5 out of 10 is all things considered. And all right, he got the assist, but it was ASM that did it all, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm just poking out a bit of fun there. Like, he got the assist, but anyone could make the pass to Saint-Maximin. He's got to do the hard work from now on. Sean Longstaff, for me, his partner in crime. I agree with Sam in the first half. I thought both the midfielders struggled. I really did. But I thought Sean had a much better second half. He almost did the dirty side of the game in the second half. Just win the challenge, just break the play up, get the more attacking players into the game. He was trying to look for Saint-Maximin as an outlet, and it worked a couple of times. But he had a much better second half. I think he was better than Shelby overall today. It's a tough one today what to give Sean. I'm going to go 6.5. I'm going to go for the half mark on this one for Sean. Should have got a penalty. I know Lee's going to go in more detail. I know you've gone into a little bit of detail with it in the instant match reaction sound, but Lee will go in great detail with that later on. I don't know how that's not a penalty. If you've got your foot 6 foot in the air and Sean Longstaff's got a header to put into the net, how that's not given as a foul, it would be given a foul anywhere else on the football pitch. But because it's inside the box, referees are afraid to give it. And why VAR didn't say to the referee, go and have a look on the monitor, it's beyond me. Absolutely beyond me. But
no consistency at all. That's the most 100%. Frustrating thing. I will just say, if I can, about Sean. When we went 2-1 up and it was abundantly clear that we were going to defend that lead and try and manage the game and see the game out, from that moment in the last 20 minutes or so, 15, 20 minutes, I thought Sean was our best outfield player. Broke everything up. He was an absolute rock. But yeah, again, everyone's performance in the first half was naff. So
yeah, I was worried that he might have actually been substituted for Willock at half time, because I genuinely thought that could be a substitution. Willock had scored against Spurs, but he never came on the pitch, which is an interesting one to say the least. Karl, Miguel Miron, flashes is what I will say. Flashes of attacking threat, but first half was anonymous, or the first 60 minutes he was anonymous, really.
Absolutely. I think he didn't even track back as much as he usually does, or not from what I can remember. He's one of them today where I didn't really not pay much attention. Just didn't really see much of him. Like you said, there were glimpses. I think he was always an outlet, but he didn't really do anything with it other than that chance that that Maxi's pulled back and Wilson's missed it, and he's had it cleared off the line. You know, other than he's always running around, wasn't he? But it was just a bit much of a muchness today. And I think probably it might be a bit harsh, but maybe a 5.5, just because I don't think he really did anything. And if we're giving Jonjo a 5 for not doing what he should be doing, then I think Miggy's a 5.5 for me.
Sam, what did you make of Miggy's performance?
Just nothing about it today. It was all a bit. Tried to run at them a bit, but just didn't make intelligent runs.
Yeah,
didn't do anything. Didn't play with any degree of intelligence, and it was just a bit headless chicken at times. And apart from that, he was totally anonymous. I thought it was quite poor.
it was one of those again, wasn't it? Where we'd had the opportunity to run at people, but he was just running at people in the wrong, like, just making the wrong decisions, just running into pockets of nothingness, basically.
I think there would have been more argument to bring Willock on for Almiron than there would have been for Sean.
Yeah,
I only say Sean because he's only just got back in the team, and I think Miggy on his day is more of an impact than Sean Longstaff is at this moment in time. I can understand it's more of a like for like replacement. I get you on that, but I just think with what Miggy can bring to the table and what Sean Longstaff can bring to the table on their day, Miggy by far brings more to the table, in my personal opinion. But look, again, I think it's one of those. It's just one of those days for me. I think I'm just watching West Ham behind me. I actually think even though West Ham are winning right now, I think West Ham at home will suit Almiron a lot more because West Ham have a lot of runners and he'll have a bit more space in certain areas, especially if he's more centre. He will have time on the ball.
We cannot defend like we did today. Sorry, against West Ham. So
definitely not.
Yeah, 100%.
That's very much an issue for next week.
100%. That'll be on a preview, I'd imagine, at some point next week. Sam, continue with Joe Linton scored and got nearly got an assist. It was half an assist, really, with that header towards the back end of the box against Spurs. Back to the old Joe Linton, was it?
No, I think that would be harsh to say. I think it was more to do with the rest of the team having such a stinking first half. Joe Linton and Gayle didn't have much to feed off. It was nice to see, actually, Joe Linton having the whereabouts to come back and try and make things happen himself. Try and do a little run here and there. All right, it didn't really come off, but at least the intent and the endeavour was there, which it isn't always in the past. It was probably a frustrating afternoon for him because the midfield, like your Almirons, as we've just been touching upon, didn't create anything at all. Shelby was a million miles off the pace in the first half when Joe Linton was on. Look, we all knew the two substitutes that were going to enter the pitch, and it was always going to be Joe Linton was always going to be one of them to go.
3-2 West Ham. Oh.
So Joe Linton's actually getting a 6 from me today because I think he was better than Almiron. It was just a frustrating afternoon, and it wasn't really his fault. I quite felt a bit sorry for him, really. The fact if he hadn't have come back and tried to make things happen himself and start a move on the counter, then he wouldn't have been getting a 6. But it's not really his fault.
I think from what I remember from the watch along as well, Jonny, you seemed like you had the similar opinion that it wasn't much his fault, that he didn't have much around him, to be fair, and that he didn't necessarily have a bad game.
No, I don't think that's a massively bad game. My argument would have been if he didn't score against Spurs last week, would it have been the game for him? Because I don't think Burnley's the game for him. I don't think Mickey really is the game really for Mickey against Burnley. You need your Carrolls, you need your Wilsons.
No.
Oh, come on, Sam.
No.
It's too difficult.
No. Like we beat them twice this season. That was all down for runners. Today should have been a game for Almiron, and Joe Linton can, when he's playing up with someone, is fine. I don't think today was a game for Carroll, because if we were just going to pump it long, Tarkowski and me would just eat him up for lunch. So
not necessarily Carroll, but Wilson. Wilson likes a battle. Wilson likes a grapple.
Yeah,
Wilson
he's not fully fit, is he?
No, but I'm just saying, in a normal game, in a normal day, Wilson would have been a far better outlet than Joe Linton for a lot of reasons. I understand that you have to start Joe Linton. I would have started Joe Linton today. I would have done. But in the back of my mind, and the question was in the watch long, is this the game for Joe Linton? It probably wasn't. He probably would be suited for a Spurs, a West Ham, teams that have got a little bit more quality and who aren't as physical. Let's be brutally honest. I don't think he was bad today. I do agree with you. I think he was working off scraps at best, but I don't think it was. It probably wasn't the game for him. But on another day, he might have got a tap in. You know, he got an assist. If Dwight Gayle's big toe wasn't offside, he might have got an assist.
Yeah. I don't think anyone realised just how close that was.
I thought he was 3 yards off. I didn't see the man at right on the byline. I don't know about you, Sam. What did you think immediately?
I assumed he was off, but I knew about the man over, but yeah, I heard the screams because I always watch it without the crowd noise. Our bench was saying, "Have a look at VAR." So I knew from then it was close, and I could see Agnew and Clements looking at the monitor they have on the bench. But yeah, it was obviously checked, and he was a gnat's cock offside. So there you go.
That's how close it was. I'm going to quickly move on to Dwight Gayle because I know we haven't got a lot of time considering we've got a few more players to do. And we've got, I think, until 4:15. So
yeah, we'll play the right advert. It'll be fine, wouldn't it?
I'm blaming your laptop on this, Sam, to be honest. Right, let's move
21%
on.
now.
Lack of communication, like Fernandez and Clark.
Dwight Gayle scored a goal just offside, even though I thought he got 3 yards offside. Had a great chance before Sean Longstaff was assaulted, which Bailey Peacock-Farrell saved pretty well, actually. I couldn't believe it when I seen he was in goal. I was thinking brilliant. But great save on the front post. But it's the sort of run that we expect from Dwight Gayle, just to come in between the two centre-halves on the front post. Very unlucky. I thought he brought a little bit more to the table than Joe Linton did. Not much more. But I was when you seen Wilson and ASM, they are a level above. Not necessarily Wilson today in terms of what he brought, but when he's fully fit, he is a level above both of them. Was he worse than Joe Linton? Was he the same? I'd probably go the same. I'd probably go 6 out of 10. I think he was a bit lucky that he didn't get on the score sheet. He'd be thinking, why did I get substituted? I haven't really done a lot wrong, but when you look at the two players that are coming on, they need to be on the pitch if Newcastle have any chance of winning a game. And that's what exactly happened.
It was the right sub to take off, though.
It was. 2 substitutions very early on, about 56, 57 minutes in. And the first one was the main man, Karl, Alan Saint-Maximin. I said, take them on. It's got 5 on. Shoot. Score.
You did.
Score. He did score.
I haven't even.
Of course he was going to score. I said he's got 5 to take on and score. A bit over the top of the 5. When you look back, it was probably only about 2. But it was 5 at random anyway. No, in all seriousness, man of the match, changed the game for me. What would you give, Karl?
Yeah, I didn't even have to edit this one, mate. I don't know if you've done it or Sam's done it, but it's already there. So yeah, that would be the score, and I know that's what you would have given him as well. So I think it's difficult not to give him that score. He was fantastic when he came on. Absolutely fantastic. Is what we have expected from him. It's what he's capable of. What we want to see from him week in, week out. He's just frightening the life out of them at the end of the day, and he's the reason that we've got a result today.
Sam, tell us how good he was.
Without him, we would have lost. Simple as that. Simple as that. He's turned us from 0 points to 3 in the blink of an eye. Not many players can do that, and it just goes to show on his day what a talented guy he is. Everyone loves him to bits. Everyone. He's a proper Newcastle sort of player, isn't he?
Yeah.
His goal was very, very similar. I said in the quick thoughts you could put a mirror down the side in the middle of his goals from against Burnley, the one at home and today's, because they were so similar. Burnley just stepped off him, and you just like,
why would you do that if you're an opposition player? Then
I don't know, but I'm glad they did. So he's won us the game. So you can't give him anything other than a 10. And we said on the preview that what me and Lee said on the preview, we both wouldn't have started him today because we wanted that impact off the bench, and that's exactly what's happened. We've got to look after him because we're so reliant on him and Wilson. And although I know we'll come on to Wilson very, very shortly because he didn't do anything, Wilson, but it's that psychological lift that not only do we get when them two are on the pitch or when they come off the bench, we feel it at home. It's on the pitch, feel it too. They get that they get that psychological lift too. You could tell the belief was there. Jacob Murphy was a completely transformed player when them substitutions were made. So it's that lift they give the whole team. So yeah, 10 out of 10 every time.
100%. Hopefully you start against West Ham. West Ham have just beaten Leicester by 3-2. 2 back-to-back 3-2 wins for David Moyes side, moves them at the 4th place. We've got them next Saturday at 12:30, so make sure you watch everything in regards to Newcastle Fans TV for Newcastle versus West Ham next Saturday. I'm going to briefly touch about Callum Wilson. Great to see him back. Great to see Callum Wilson back. I think it's your actually rating, Sam, on him, but it's great to see him back in the team. Yes, he didn't do a great deal, but he just, again, psychologically, as he said, he just put that doubt in the defenders' minds. He moved away a little bit for the second goal, just so Saint-Maximin had that extra bit of space.
It's a tricky one to score in many ways because if you just base it on his performance and you don't take into account how much of a miss he is and that, again, psychological element that he brought, his performance today is so abundantly clear he's not fit yet, and he's been missing for ages because his first touch was absolutely shocking when he came on. I thought Shola Amiobi had just hijacked the football match. His first touch was wank.
Would you start him next week?
Another week's training, who knows? Whether you can get 60 minutes out of him, it might come too soon. Don't be surprised if he's on the bench next week again. But let's not. It's one of the games. He's got a fantastic goal scoring record against West Ham.
He loves West Ham, doesn't he?
Yeah. So, do you take that risk? Possibly, but it's very, very important that he stays fit for the end of the season. Scoring wise, I've kind of 5. It's really tricky because.
Yeah.
He didn't. I mean, you could maybe even argue a case to go lower, or you could maybe argue.
No, don't go lower. Come on.
No, I wouldn't go lower.
We've won a game of football. Come
exactly.
on.
But I wouldn't go any higher than that. But it's just so fantastic to see him back on the pitch because he's going to be massively, massively important over the next 7 games or however many we've got left now.
Yeah, 7 games, 6 points clear. We'll touch about that at the very, very end, whether Newcastle have done enough or might have done enough from that at the end of the season. Jeff Hendrick came on against his former club for 2 minutes just to run around and chase a football. I could have done that. Maybe not as quick as Jeff Hendrick, but he's getting.
I don't know. I think you could have. I think you could have.
You know what it is? That's what I love about Carl. That's what I love about Carl. It gives you the benefit of the doubt. Thinks that you can do stuff that footballers can do. But yeah, not applicable for Jeff Hendrick. Just the appearance fee, I think, for him today. Right, Steve Bruce. I'll start with Steve Bruce on this occasion. Good point against Spurs last week, even though he's been talking in the press like it was 2 wins back-to-back in the Premier League, which is a bit weird. I didn't realise you could get 3 points for a draw. But anyway, look, we're 6 points clear at the bottom 3. After Fulham lost on Friday, it was abundantly clear we had to win this game. We had the opportunity. We've got to take it. Can we take it? We have taken it. Now, the argument was, do you start Saint-Maximin, do you start Wilson? They're both fit. Obviously, Saint-Maximin was more of a case because obviously he played against Spurs as well. I think it was probably, in hindsight, it was still probably the right decision to not start both of them because the players on the pitch probably deserved to start after their performance against Spurs last week. I think if he left it any later, in terms of Saint-Maximin and Wilson and Saint-Maximin in particular, I think he wouldn't be getting as high a score as he would have done. But on the context of that second half performance and the fact that he brought on Saint-Maximin and Wilson, yes, the first half was poor. You could argue that Newcastle should have had a penalty, could have scored through Gayle. I'm going to give Bruce an 8. I'm going to give him an 8. I think it's a win. We don't get many wins, but give credit where credit's due. He brought the players on probably just about in time, and Saint-Maximin in particular has dug himself out of the hole. But 6 points clear. Fulham have got 6 games to go. It's ours to throw away. We've now thrown Brighton back into it. We've now thrown Burnley back into it on 33 points. It's now on Fulham to win games that they're not expected to win. But on today's performance, I think overall, we were worthy of at least a point. But when you've got a player like Saint-Maximin who can take on 5 players, in my particular opinion, and score, probably just enough to give him an 8 out of 10. Karl, what do you think?
I'll be honest, that was the first number that come into my head as well, and it's just because I wouldn't have set up any differently today, to be honest. That's the lineup I would have went with. I agreed with what Sam said in the preview, and I've always been of the same mindset that I don't want these players rushed back anymore. So we know that Maximin unfortunately has been quite injury prone this year, and the last thing I want to do is hinder our chances of staying up by doing that with Wilson and Maximin when we need them. So I just think he's managed the game very well today, to be honest. And I said this in the watch line. I know I'll use the words massive praise, and that was a bit over the top. But again, substitutions made at the right time. Right personnel were brought on. Right personnel probably were taken off. Can't really fault it, to be honest. So I'll give him an 8.
Sam, where do you stand?
It's irrelevant because you two have already ganged up on me, and so he's getting an 8. For the record, I would have gone for 6.
6 for a win.
Right. We
He's been given 7 for draws recently.
I would have given him a 6. Starting lineup wise, I mean, before the game, you'd think, oh, should we start Wilson? Can we get an hour out of him? I mean, when he came on, it's abundantly clear that no, we couldn't get an hour out of him. So I've got no issue. The only kind of minor issue I have was I would have started Willock over Shelvey. But let's not forget, ASM's won us this game. The first 55 minutes were absolutely appalling.
They were.
I'm not convinced by the many systems he's played this season. It was all a bit sloppy, all a bit lethargic. Wasn't enough initiative in midfield going forward. Them substitutions were always going to be made. It was just a case of when and not if. So it was credit where it's due for making the substitutions when he did. 55 minutes. That's good and early. That's a lot earlier than what he normally does. So that's where he gets the credit. Apart from that,
but Sam, you look at the start. You look at the starting 11, right? You talk about Willock with Sheldon, which is a good argument, but we probably would have agreed with 95% of that team.
Definitely, and I appreciate what people are saying in the chat because I've seen it, and they did it in the watch along as well about those subs are common sense. Yes, they are, but he hasn't done that in 95% of the season. He hasn't. Exactly. He has today, at the end of the day. And, you know, we can all say, yeah, the subs, those are the subs that he was going to make. But he hasn't done that, has he? At the end of the day, he hasn't. We all would have done, but...
I would have had Saint-Maximin and Wilson on at halftime today because it was that bad.
It was, but, like, it gave them the opportunity to kind of improve. They didn't. They started so sloppy in the second half. It's scary. I think we concede a corner after like 10 seconds in the second half.
Yeah. Did you have a worry, Sam, like what me and Karl thought that he was gonna bring on Manquillo at half time as an attacking substitution at right back because he has done that recently, hasn't he?
God, can you imagine? There was an argument. I did dip into your watch along. I would have agreed. I would have brought on Kraft to kind of shore things up towards the end.
Really?
I would have, and then I would have gone to a kind of flat back four with Dummett on the left and Fernandez in the middle, just to shore things up. Just 2 lines of 4. See this game out, manage it. It doesn't matter because we got the win in the end, so it's irrelevant. I mean. All right, you didn't see Willock, but as soon as we went 2-1 up and we were defending the lead, you were never going to see Willock.
No,
Willock was there as the third option if ASM and Wilson couldn't make a breakthrough, but ASM did. Arguably, we would have won the game without Wilson today as well. It was just all about ASM, and he just absolutely got us out of the shitter today.
No,
That worked out at about a 7.3 recurring on
No.
average.
It's a democracy, so it's an 8. I am outvoted. I don't want to be associated with your 7.33 or your 8 actually. But there you go.
Oh dear me.
But look,
Yeah.
what a brilliantly positive week it has been. Look, 1892 pledge from the trust, absolutely superb.
Yeah.
I'd urge every single one of you to get behind that and the supporters trust. Nice positive week on social media for a change regarding Newcastle. Fulham lost, we won 6 points with a game in hand, clear. And people think we want to be pushing for Europe all the time. We're all absolutely chuffed that we're 6 points clear in 17th.
Yay! We are set. No, probably not that sort of chat, is it? Yes, you're quite right, Sam. 6 points against a fantastic week. Green and Mulder show is back tomorrow night, and Sam has plugged it very, very well because we do have Alex Hurst on the Green and Mulder show tomorrow night. It will be live. He will be talking all things Pledge 1892. Might even mention Burnley won Newcastle too. We might. So that is the Green and Mulder show tomorrow as well. In the next couple of minutes, we have got the last word with Lee, and we have a clip from Matt as well. So please do not leave. Go straight to the last word with Lee. God knows what he would have been like when Saint-Maximin scored. He's been saying a lot of stuff on this chat. You might even mention one or two of them. You never know. But if you do agree with our player ratings and manager ratings, give us a like. And we're when I say close, we're extremely close to 25,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We're very, very close to 25,000. We might even make it today if there's a little bit of a push. But
aren't you getting a tattoo if we make it today? Aren't you getting a tattoo?
Not me. I didn't say that. I said 100,000 if we got it today.
Can you just shave your beard either way, no matter how many subscribers we get?
2 days. 2 days. This beard will be gone a little bit.
Absolute disgrace.
Supporting local businesses, mate. That's why I've kept it growing. Supporting local businesses anyway. Big thanks to Sam Mulner.
Oh, you're leaving the pause again. How original.
What you meant to say, Sam, is thanks very much, Jonny.
Why?
Just for the banter.
We have the banter anyway.
Do you know it's go away. Thanks very much, Carl.
Thanks very much, Johnny.
25,000 subscribers. I want it by the end of the day. Subscribe and like this video. We'll see you all very, very soon.